Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, November 16th. I'm Dan Philgreen. On today's show, Ruth Deuber will bring us another What's Cooking segment, and Director of Resident Life, Laura Slack, will talk about next week's Concert and Conversations event. But first, we want to remind you of several events taking place tomorrow. The Aviation Club will have a special guest speaker. Now, I hear he's a wonderful and fascinating fellow who knows all about flying drones. He happens to have a pilot's license and operates Shell Point's aerial camera. Oh, wait a minute. It's me. Yes, I'm the guest speaker. Well, anyway, actually I didn't write that, but well, make sure you come to the Aviation Club meeting, which will be held tomorrow in the Social Center at 1:15 p.m. After my presentation, we'll go outside for a flight demonstration over the Island Lagoon. It will be both informative and enjoyable. So, everyone, come on out. Another offering you might be interested in that keeps things firmly on the ground is the Computer Club. They will be meeting at 2:15 in the Manatee Room. Come and hear Mike Peterson from Computer Medics as he shares about hotkeys. Now, hotkeys are present on every laptop keyboard and on some desktops. These shortcut keys enable you to access special commands and make operating computers more enjoyable. And finally, tomorrow evening, you can head off campus to enjoy a Tony Award-winning musical entitled My Fair Lady at the Gulf Shore Playhouse. Court pickups begin on the island at 6 p.m. and the cost of the outing is $60. Come see this high-energy, 10-person, 2-piano theatrical version of the heartwarming musical. Just call either service desk to sign up. And now it's time for another What's Cooking segment with Ruth Deuber.
Hello, I'm Ruth Deuber, and this is What's Cooking at Shell Point. And obviously, we're into the holidays. And I found a recipe the other day that just really intrigued me. I love cranberries, and I know the fresh cranberries, at least as of this past week, are not in the market yet. So I found a recipe. It's with cranberry vinaigrette. So I thought, well, that's a good start. And it starts with jellied cranberry sauce. And this recipe that I'm making takes only half of that. And instead of a big blender, I'm going to use my little chopper here. And so this is half of the can. And 1/4 cup of olive oil. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. And 1 tablespoon of grated orange, and that's in there, with 2 tablespoons of fresh orange juice. So we're going to pour that in. And 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. So here comes your tart. Now you can put it either in the cruet that I have over there, or you can put it in a little jar like this. And then it would be easy to shake it up. When you're ready to put it on the salad. Now some of the other ingredients is going to be some fresh dried cranberries, and some toasted walnuts, and some chopped celery. And I like to put the salad in these lettuce cups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up some apple. And right now the Honey Crisps are in, and it's absolutely delicious. And 1 bite for the cook. And I toasted these walnuts because it gives them a better flavor. And then here comes the dried cranberries. There, and I'll stir up the dressing a little bit again. And we're just going to drizzle some of that on the top. And you'll notice, don't try and cut that because that's not part of the cheese. So we'll cut just a few little pieces here. I don't mind the rind. If that bothers you, you can cut it off. But I personally think the rind has a lot of flavor in it. And we'll do that. There you go. I think this would be a great salad to have either Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's colorful and it's nice and crispy, and we'll have a little taste. Mm. Here. Mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. The cranberry vinaigrette is a beautiful touch to it, and the creamy brie and the combination is just delightful, I think, so you might want to try it. I'll put the recipe up on the website, and we'll see you again. Thank you very much. I have to have a little more. Bye-bye.
As part of the season's Shell Point concert series, the Spectrum of Sound, as it is titled, includes a concert and conversations performance with flautists William and Beth Larsen next Monday. To tell us a bit more about the concert, here's Laura Slack, Director of Resident Life.
Hi, I'm Laura Slack, Director of Resident Life, and I want to tell you about the first concerts and conversations of the 2016-17 concert series. Do you like the music of a flute? If so, this concert is for you. William and Beth Larsen are married and both play the flute. William has been the principal flutist and soloist for the Southwest Florida Symphony for 31 years. His wife Beth serves as second flute, piccolo, with the Southwest Florida Symphony and the Palm Beach Opera Orchestra. Bill and Beth are professional musicians who live and teach right here in Fort Myers at their own Larsen Flute Studio. The Larsens will be performing in the Grand Cypress Room on the second floor of the Woodlands on Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. The more intimate setting with smaller groups enables the performers to interact with the audience. Immediately following the performance, there will be dessert and fellowship. Doors open at 6:30. Tickets are required for this concert and can be purchased for $25 at the service desk on the island or at the Woodlands Commons. Hope to see you there for this awesome concert and conversation. Thank you.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy News, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley.
And I'm Dora Robbins.
And we're going to go over the activity lineup for you here today. At 7:45, we have Men's Bible Study. That'll be held in the Osprey Room on the island. 8 o'clock, it's time for pickleball down at the game courts. Lily and Company Jewelers will be here at 8:45 at the Resident Activity Center. And at 9 o'clock, we have Jurassic Travel in the Egret Room to help with your personal travel needs. At 9 o'clock, we have the Watercolor Group with Bill Hilton down in the Art Studio. And the Card Making and Scrapbooking Group will be in the Tarpon Room at 9:15. And at 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be sailing their boats down at the Woodlands Commons Lake. And we have an 11:30 Health Connections class, Bar Ball Edition. That's in the Health Club. It's currently full. Now here's Dora to tell you the afternoon lineup.
We're going to start at 12:45 with Health Connections. It's strength and conditioning. That's at the Health Club and sign up is required. We have chess in the Library Lounge at 1 o'clock. And we have Health Connections at 1:45, stability and strength, and that's in the Health Club on the island. At 2:15, we have Knitters Anonymous, and that's in the Osprey Room. We have Jazz and Stuff at the Grand Cypress at 2:30. We have Pilates Bar Fusion at the Health Club at 3 o'clock. And at 5, we have Singles Table at the Crystal Dining Room. We have Church Choir Rehearsal at 5:45. And the last activity for the day is at 7:15, and it's Prayer and Praise at the Village Church. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 1 o'clock, Intermediate Bridge continues in the game room of the Woodlands. Tomorrow we have iPhone, the new watch, and the new operating system with Bruce Findlay of Sundial.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is hearty lamb stew in a bread bowl with fried green beans. For dinner, they have the dinner buffet for $14.95. The soup of the day is tortellini and Italian sausage. In the Island Cafe, the sandwich special is blackened tilapia with coleslaw for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are crab stuffed shrimp for $16.95 or braised short ribs for $16.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. When I hear stories about all the red tape involved in dealing with government agencies in this country, I tend to smile and wonder if those who complain have ever experienced red tape overseas. Let me share with you an anecdote from a letter written quite recently by my friend David, a British pastor in Romania, who has done heroic work helping disabled Romanian orphans become employable. Now you'll need to concentrate, or you'll lose the thread of this true red tape story very quickly. Are you ready? Okay, here goes. Pastor David wrote, "On Friday I took Alfred to have his driving test. When we got there, we were told the test had been moved to another town, 1 hour away. But if we could get there in just 5 minutes, Alfred could have his test. Of course, we decided to take a new date. We went to a lawyer and paid the fee to have the cancellation ratified. We took that to the police, where we paid a fee to re-register, and then returned to the driving test center to pay again for a test, which was set for Wednesday this week. We protested that Alfred would be away on vacation at a Christian camp, but were told he simply had to cancel his vacation or come back early, which he did. On Wednesday, there were 493 people waiting for the driving test, but Alfred was not called. We inquired why and were told his document was not there. After 4 visits to a police station, 4 to the driving test center, and 3 to the driving school, eventually we located the missing document. But it was not properly stamped. So we had to go back to the police and pay the fee to have it stamped. However, the test center refused to accept it. So we returned to the police, paid another fee to get it properly stamped, and then the test center gave Alfred a cancellation slip for which we had to pay to get it verified by a lawyer, and then to the police, who refused to accept the new time. We went through the process again and paid again, but by that time the test center had closed for the day. So he could not have his test, and we had to pay for and book another one, which again the police refused to accept. Eventually, after 7 hours and 104 miles of traveling to and from, we got it booked for the next Wednesday. We hope. We could have got over the problem the way some of the 20 or so other people in the same position did, by paying the police and the test center a small bribe. But Alfred and I refused to do that. Well, that's the red tape story. And it made me grateful that God doesn't entangle us with red tape when it comes to finding peace with God. I sometimes wonder if God imposed a list of requirements, there might not be more people who would find the way. Just look at the many requirements various religions impose on the faithful. For example, bathing in the Ganges River or making a pilgrimage to Mecca, etc., etc. People seem willing to do anything they think will earn them favor with the Almighty. But the gospel message, on the other hand, seems too simple for some people to swallow. Accepting God's grace as a gift is hard for people bent on trying to earn God's favor by their religious practices and good works, which of course is impossible. There's a thought-provoking illustration of this in the Old Testament. It concerns a Syrian military leader named Naaman, who developed leprosy. His wife's maid, an Israeli hostage, encouraged him to seek help from a prophet in Israel. There, the prophet Elisha told him to go and wash himself 7 times in the Jordan River, and he would be healed. Simple enough, right? Oh, but Naaman, indignant, turned and went away in a rage, the Bible says. His officers tried to reason with him and said, Sir, if the prophet had told you to do something very difficult, wouldn't you have done it? So you should certainly obey him when he says simply, go and wash and be cured. So Naaman went down to the Jordan River and dipped himself 7 times, and his skin became as healthy as the skin of a young child, and he was healed. Voila! Naaman almost missed being healed because the requirement was too simple. Like many people today, Naaman was prepared to do something difficult to be healed, but he found it hard and somewhat humiliating to do something simple. And when the Apostle Paul and his friend Silas were thrown into prison in Philippi for their witness, suddenly at midnight a violent earthquake rocked the prison. At once all the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. And the jailer woke up, and when he saw the prison doors open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself because he thought the prisoners had escaped. But Paul shouted, "Don't harm yourself, we're all here." The jailer called for lights, rushed in, fell trembling before Paul and Silas. He then brought them out and asked, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" And they replied simply, get this, "Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved." Just believe. No red tape required. God saved you by his grace when you believed, wrote Paul to the Christians in Ephesus. You can't take credit for this. It's a gift from God. Salvation is not a reward for good things that we have done, so none of us can boast about it. Of course, those who believe become followers of Jesus, and while they're not saved on the basis of their good works should be the result of their believing. To believe is to begin a wonderful journey with God. No red tape required. Thank you for tuning in again to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us for today's program. Return tomorrow when Marge Lee will visit with resident Maxine Brooks for another art chat. And we'll head back to the Sea Grape Salon and Spa to learn about one of the makeup lines that Robin Church has to offer. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, November 16th. I'm Dan Philgreen, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you here again tomorrow.